Hello students, let's continue our chapter 4, Literary Heritage of India. Students, today we are going to study about medieval literature. So, please open your textbook, take page number 32. During the beginning of the medieval age in North India, the language of literature was Sanskrit. So, the great works were composed during this period were in Sanskrit. In this age, two great works were written in Kashmir. First was Somdeva's Katha Sarit Sagar and second was Kallana's Raj Tarangini. These are first historical books of India. Students, we saw that in medieval India, in the medieval age, that the language which was used was Sanskrit, and the books which were written in Kashmir, one was Somdeva's Katha Sarit Sagar and Kallana's Raj Tarangini, were very famous and first historical books of India. Another famous work of this time is the Git Govind by Jayadeva. Make a bracket and underline Git Govind and Jayadev, which is one of the finest poems in Sanskrit literature. As we have said before, this was a period when the Abrahmas languages had started developing into modern Indian languages. Students, make that bracket to Upper Brahmas. One of the earliest works in an early form of Hindi was Prithviraj Raso by Chand Bardai. Students, make a bracket to that. One of the earliest work till Chand Bardai, underline Prithviraj Raso and Chand Bardai. It was in Hindi form, students, remember. The work that marks the beginning of Hindi literature deals with heroic deeds of Prithviraj Chauhan. Students, since it was Chand Bardai wrote the book named as Prithviraj Raso, which was in Hindi, which also is about the deeds that Prithviraj Chauhan, which he has done in his time. So the name is Prithviraj Raso. It's about Prithviraj Chauhan. In this time, Sanskrit literature made great stride in South India. For some time, Jainism influenced Kannada literature. The poet Pompa composed Adipuran and Vikramarjun Vijayant. The poet Ponna wrote Shantipuran, describing the life of 16th Jain Tirthankar. Make bracket to the students. The poet Pompa composed Adipuran and Vikramarjun Vijayan, and the poet Pompa also wrote Shantipuram, describing the life of 16th Jain Tirthankar. The poet Rana composed two books, namely Ajitnath Puran and Gadayudh. The poets, namely Pompa, Ponna and Rana, are known as a trio of early Kannada literature. Make a bracket. The poets, namely, underline Pompa, Ponna and Rana, are known as a trio early Kannada literature. Poet Kamban composed Ramayana in Tamil language. Underline Kamban and Ramayana, which is in Tamil language. Apart from this, other famous literary works were written in Tamil languages. So students, after Sanskrit we went to Hindi, and that was by Chand Bardai, which he wrote about Prithviraj Chauhan, and the book was Prithviraj Raso. Then we saw the works which were in Tamil literature, how it went on influencing. Students will have to remember all these names like Shantipuram, Ajitnathpuram, Gadayudh. These all the names you will have to remember. Now, let's come to the next paragraph. The development of Indian languages and composition got a promotion in Delhi Sultanate. Two forms of Delhi language, Khadi Boli and Brij Bhasha, began to be used for writing literature. Many devotional songs were composed in these languages. Many heroic poems and stories were composed in Rajasthani language, which is similar to Hindi and Gujarati. The heroic works like Udal and Visaldev Raso were popular at that time. Students, make bracket to this. The heroic works, underline these names, Allah, Udal and Visaldev Raso. Also, you will have to make a bracket to many other poems which were in Rajasthani, similar to Hindi and Gujarati. Underline that. Underline this Khadi Boli and Brij Bhasha, which was encouraged, which they started composing into. Then, students, let's see. The heroic works that we saw, that is Allah, Udal and Visaldev Raso, were popular at that time. A book called Chandrayaan, written by Mullah Daud, is the oldest book in Awadhi language. However, the critical appreciation of the ancient books was still written in Sanskrit. So students, again, which is the another language? Awadhi. And what is the book over here? Chandrayaan, written by whom, students? Mullah Daud, underline. But students, the critical appreciation was in which language? It remains still in Sanskrit. The book that they had to appreciate, they have to evaluate and all, everything that was done in Sanskrit. Now, Persian. Persian was language of court of Delhi Sultanate, make a bracket. So students, Delhi Sultanate, they are neither speaking in Hindi nor in Sanskrit nor in Tamil, but their language is Persian, and therefore underline that Persian was the language of court of Delhi Sultanate, make a bracket. And then consequently, many Persian words are seen in Indian languages. Many historians emerge out during this period. We get proper description of Indian history through Turkish writer in Persian language. Students, make a bracket to this sentence. We get proper description of Indian history through Turkish writer in Persian language. Close the bracket. Let's see who they are and what it is. Ziauddin Barani wrote the Tariq-e-Firoz Shahi, which gives a detailed account of the region of the Khilji and Tughlaq kings. Make a bracket. Ziauddin Barani wrote Tariq-e-Firoz Shahi. And what account, about what does it speak? About the region of Khilji and Tughlaq kings. He also wrote a book on political theory like Fatwa-e-Jahangiri. Underline that, Fatwa-e-Jahangiri. Let's see then. The most outstanding literature, the most outstanding literary figure of this period was Amir Khusro. Underline Amir Khusro, make a bracket. He was a poet, historian, mystic, saint and composer of music. So see, Amir Khusro, he was not only a poet but historian, mystic, saint and composer of music. Close the bracket. He was also a disciple of Nizamuddin Auliya. He wrote Ashika, the Nasifir, the Kiratul Sadayan, the Khazin ul Futu, and several other works in poetry. Come to the next page. He took great pride of his being an Indian and praised India as the earthly paradise. Underline earthly paradise. He praised India's flora, fauna, its beauty, its buildings, its knowledge and learning. He strongly believed that in many respects the essence of Hinduism resembled Islam. In many essence, he strongly believed that somewhere there was something that it resembled Hinduism, resembled Islam. He considered Hindwali, the Hindi spoken around the region of Delhi, his mother tongue, and composed many verses in it. He composed verses in many languages. He wrote a number of bilingual quatrains, underline student, bilingual quatrains, and verses in Hindi and Persian. The healthy tradition started by him continued for centuries after him. So students, who is it that we are talking about? We are talking about Amir Khusro, okay, who was a great poet, historian, mystic, composer of music and a saint. He was also disciple of whom? Nizamuddin Auliya. He has written many other works which we saw. And what does he say that? He says that his being an Indian, he praised India as a earthly paradise. He appreciated its flora, fauna, its beauty, building, knowledge, learning, everything. And so students, let's see that he also has written the poems. He wrote a number of bilingual quatrains. What is a quatrains? That is a 4-line poem, that is a verses, bilingual in 2 languages, Hindi as well as in Persian. The healthy tradition started by him continued for centuries after him. Come to the next paragraph. The regional kings gave a great impetus to regional languages and literature. I want you to make a bracket. Bhakti saints preached in the languages of the people. Many of them, like Kabir, were great poets. Many of them, like Kabir, underline that Kabir. Now we are going to see who these other people are. Bhojpuri and Awadhi were the major dialects during those days. So students, from Sanskrit to Persian, Persian to Hindi and Awadhi and many other languages, now they are coming back to the different languages of people. And who are these? The Bhakti saints are preaching, they are teaching, they are speaking about God and devotion to the languages of the people. And now Bhojpuri and Awadhi were the major dialects during those days. Now, what is that? The works of Kabir are chiefly composed in Sadakari. Among them, Kabir's dohas have become a part of folklore. Underline Kabir's doha. You know Kabir's dohas are very famous. They have become a part of folklore. Malik Muhammad Jaisi wrote Padmavat in Awadhi. There are many other poets of Awadhi in this period. So we are talking about Awadhi. And students, who are Kabir's dohas that have been written, have become the part of the folklore. We have been given the names over here. What is the name? Sadukari. Padmavati is in Awadhi. Okay? Now, let's come down. Let's come to the next paragraph. Moreover, the well-known Ramacharit Manas by Tulsidas was written in Awadhi. Make a bracket. This is also again written in Awadhi. There were many other writers of Awadhi language. Besides Hindi language, literature in other languages also developed. So students, besides Hindi language, now into other languages also the literature has been developing. What you write, you bring out the literature in your language, in your dialect. And so see, in Bengali, the Ramayana by Krita Vasa and the 100 of lyrics by the famous poet Chandidas were written under the patronage of the rulers. With Saint Chaitanya's, the tradition of writing devotional songs began. Students, make underline to that. With Saint Chaitanya's, the tradition of writing devotion songs began. Narsimha Mehta wrote devotional songs in Gujarati and Namdev and Sant Eknath in Marathi. Students, underline. Who is the poet who wrote it in Gujarati? Narsimha Mehta, whereas Namdev and Sant Eknath have written in Marathi. There were important developments in Kashmir under Zinuluddin, under whose patronage many Sanskrit works like Mahabharata and Rajatarangini were translated into Persian. Students, underline this. Mahabharata and Rajatarangini were translated into Persian. In the reign of kings of Vijayanagar, Sanskrit literature continued to develop. However, this was an important period for the growth of Telugu literature. Make a bracket. In the reign of kings Vijayanagar, Sanskrit literature continued to develop. It did not stop. But then also, this was an important period for the growth of Telugu literature. Now, which are these poets? Raja Krishnadev Babari, the great king of Vijayanagar, was also a Telugu and Sanskrit writer. He wrote Amukta Malyad. He wrote, underline, Amukta Malyad. Now, students, we are now studying about the Kannada, Telugu. Sorry, we are studying about Telugu. And what is the name of the writer? Raja Krishnadevaraya, the great king of Vijayanagar, who was also writer in Telugu as well as in Sanskrit. What is his famous work? Amukta Mallad. As an art and architecture, the Mughal period also saw a great development in literature. Make a bracket, student. Babur, the first Mughal ruler, was one of the pioneers of Turkish poetry. Students, underline that. Babur was of what? Pioneer, the beginner of the Turkish poetry. Now, Persian today switching on to Turkish. And also the author of very valuable autobiography, Tuzak-e-Babur in Turkish, which was later translated into Persian entitled as Baburnama. This you have to remember, students, underline that all. Tuzak-e-Babur, which is in Turkish, was translated into Persian and titled as Baburnama. Gulbaddan Begum, sister of Emperor Humayun, wrote Humayun Nama. Make a bracket. Gulbaddan Begum, sister of the emperor, the king Humayun, wrote Humayun Nama. Jahangir wrote his great autobiography, the underline Tuzak-e-Jahangiri. Aurangzeb also was a prolific writer, and the last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar, was a notable Urdu poet. So students, it's not only that Aurangzeb, but also Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar also was a notable. But what was his work in? He was a Urdu poet. So students, we saw about these are the people of the Mughal period. Like Babur, the first Mughal ruler, who was a pioneer in Turkish poetry. His Persian work, which was translated into Persian, was entitled as Baburnama. Humayun's sister, that is the Gulbaddan Begum, she wrote Humayunama. Jahangir's great work, autobiography, Tuzak-e-Jahangiri. Aurangzeb, the last emperor, Mughal emperor, and then Bahadur Shah Zafar, Urdu poet. Now, Hindi literature made significant progress during Akbar's reign. Tulsidas and Surdas wrote in this period. The great poet Keshav Das wrote on love and separation. Rahim's dohas are still popular all over India. So students, the great poet Keshav Das, he wrote on what? He wrote about love and separation. Separation from love. When you love someone, the separation, how you feel about the feelings and all. And Rahim's dohas are still popular all over India. We also studied about Kabir's doha. Over here we are studying about Rahim's doha. And so students, which literature made significant progress? Hindi literature, which made progress during whose reign? During the reign of Akbar. Many noteworthy books were written during this period. Abdul Fazl wrote the Ain-e-Akbari and Akbarnama. Underline, students, make a bracket. Ain-e-Akbari and Akbarnama, underline this. Ain-e-Akbari gives details of Indian customs, manners, religions, philosophy, economic condition, and almost every aspect of life. Make a bracket. So suppose if you are asked for 2 marks question, what is the famous work of Abdul Fazl? That is Ain-e-Akbari and the Akbarnama. But Ain-e-Akbari gives us the detail about Indian customs, manners, religion, philosophy, economic condition, and almost every aspect of life. As a historical work, it is perhaps unparalleled. Abul Fazl's brother Fazi was a great Persian poet, and he translated many Sanskrit works into Persian. Akbar had established an independent department for translation of Sanskrit works like Mahabharata and Ramayana. the Atharva Veda, the Bhagavad Gita and Panchatantra. Make a bracket, students. Akbar had established his independent department for translation of Sanskrit works. And what works, students, they are? Mahabharata and the Ramayana, the Atharva Veda, the Bhagavad Gita and Panchatantra. One of the most significant development during the medieval period was the birth of Urdu language. So students, during the medieval period, also one more development, that was the Urdu language. Underline that, Urdu language. This new language soon developed into one of the richest modern Indian languages. It produced great poets like, underline, Wali, Mirdad, Mirtaki Mir, Nazir Akbarabadi, Abdullah Khan, Ghalib, Iqbal and others. Students, who are these poets? Who are these poets whose great work came to be produced? They are Wali, Mirdad, Mir Takemir, Nazir Akbarabdi, Abdullah Khan, Ghalib, Iqbal and others. We'll turn the page, students. Students, here, Urdu prose also developed in the early 18th century, underline this 18th century, when the translation of the most of the historical works from Sanskrit into Urdu began. From Sanskrit into Urdu had begun. That time, we are talking about the work, which the translation took place. At that time, the original prose work in Urdu was written. Muhammad Hussain Azad's Darbar-e-Akbari is one of the best works of the Urdu language. Students, make a bracket. Muhammad Hussain Azad's Darbar-e-Akbari is one of the best works of the Urdu language. Students, we are going to stop over here, and tomorrow we will be studying about the ancient universities. You can already see the name of Nalanda, Varanasi, Vallabhi. So we are going to stop here. See you tomorrow. Have a good day.